back to Horrific Heroes. Steve and Rob here.
And Robert,
Robert, do you prefer Robert?
I do, but Rob is fine.
Sorry,
So
Robert. You said in the last episode, and I was like, are you being just joking or are you correcting me?" And I'm
no, yeah,
like,
I wasn't really correcting you. I was just saying my name. You say your name, I say my name. I don't know.
fair enough.
We're
Fair
just,
enough.
I figure I was riffing.
As long as I'm not calling you Mrs. Hart, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's Sharon.
It's Sharon. Man,
Uh,
this guest is leaving. Okay. So I rewatched WandaVision recently to prep for this,
that's
and like
too funny.
all the lines are fresh. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're here talking episode five. Was it
So
sorry,
5.
episode five. I'm already forgetting. Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power is the name. We'll get the whole
Yes.
spell by the end of the season. Um,
Yeah.
which is cool. I love that the lines of the. I thought the lines of the episodes were going to be those fake titles that they were giving us.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess not. We're just getting the lyrics of the spell, which is fine. That was just that's
Yeah.
a little bit of fun in the promo for the show. So,
Right.
which is cool.
I
People were
think
annoyed
that's
at
what it
that.
was. Yeah, no, people were really annoyed with it. Like, it's like, why does it keep changing? People were getting really upset. They're like, they were having no confidence in the show because they were just
Yeah.
like, what keeps happening? And then I love that they were just like, no, it's just been Agatha all along. And everybody's like, bastards. So
Yeah. It's yeah.
it
Well,
was hilarious.
yeah, it's amazing. It's trolling at its finest. And Agatha's like the master troller of the
Right?
MCU. Well, I guess Loki maybe is the master
Yeah. Yeah.
troller. But let's dive in. This is a biggie. This is
Oh,
definitely
this
a
was a
turning
really,
point
yeah,
for
which is why it
Steve.
kind of needed an episode all of its own.
It's
So,
an episode all on its own, so we've escaped the curse trial, Alice's trial, and
yes.
now we open up with woodland creatures, if you will, who turn out to be the Seven.
The
So I
Salem
remember
7.
the Salem Seven, who when I was doing the research, I obviously haven't read everything with them in it. I was so they were animals. We didn't get the
Yeah.
animals yet, but now I love that they incorporated that into it. They are
Yes.
I don't know. There's a phrase for it. Animagi. Is
The
that a phrase?
Animagus. Yeah.
Animagus. Yeah.
Animagus. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like animal shapeshift, not really shapeshifters, but I guess they each have an animal form that they take.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and they're now after the coven. Sort of. I guess the owl is like our main one of this. That seems to be the one that they focus on the
Yeah.
most. Is the
Yeah.
owl of the seven, and yeah, and so they're sort of running from the seven. They know that they're on their heels, and we get this sort of broomstick.
Yeah.
They call it.
So to get away, they were like, okay, well, we need to, you know what we need to do. And then like Lily is just like, no, come on, because she doesn't want to do anything that's like, so stereotypical witch.
Right,
But they have
right.
to get on brooms. They have to create brooms and get on brooms.
It's a
So that'll
symbol of
help them get out of there.
domestication.
Yeah, yeah. It was like that was the thing that was the worst for her was just like, all of this stuff just about witches and everything like that, but it's also just very feminist, like
Hmm.
a anti-feminist a thing about, women and domesticity.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But I love this. I didn't know this about any lore, or if this is like a regular thing in witchcraft. But you can't make your own broom,
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
so that was cool.
No.
So you
Yeah,
have to
you
have
have
a
to be
partner.
offered. Yeah.
Yeah, that you have to, you grab it, you do your thing, and then you go in a circle, say whatever, and then you have to hand it off to
Yeah.
your partner witch in crime here. The I love the back and forth between Lillian and Jen. I think it was right, Jen. They did each other's brooms, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, great job!" And then Lillian's like, "You could have done better."
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, back to that sass. It's
Oh no, the
so
sass
good.
between every one of them is like
Mhm.
great. Well, because then like Agatha and Rio are doing each other's, and they don't even do the whole thing. They just kind of both like just hand like they make them and then just hand them to each other, and it's just like, all right, well, they're
I
just
guess
kind
it
of like,
worked. Then
yeah, no, I mean, it obviously worked well enough.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and then
And
Teen
then
was excited to be able to get to ride his own.
Teen got a
So,
broom with Alice. Alice offered.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
all excited
Was
to get his own broom.
Yeah.
I almost like half expected. I mean, I'm glad they didn't because that would have been too much. But like, in like Hocus Pocus when she rides the vacuum, like, I mean, granted, they're not gonna
Right.
find a vacuum, but like, like
Yeah.
a non-conventional item. I'm like, all right, they went classic. Like, let's just get some wood and do the
Yeah.
classic thing.
Yeah. No, it worked out really well. It was a great sequence, and
Hmm.
but the witch's road won't let them come off of it, so it pulls them back down to the road.
Yeah,
So
and so in the Salem 7, so this is the most uh CGI we've gotten thus far, I think. With
yeah,
some of those bees, the seven kind of unleash. I think it's bees or locusts or some insect. I
it
can't remember.
was it was multiple different kinds of bugs.
It was a bunch of
Yeah,
different. Okay.
yeah.
So there's like some animal insect summoning that they can do, and they
Well, I think that was that one's form. Like, because we saw one that was like a raccoon, one that was the
mm,
owl, and
there
then
was a
I
snake,
think this
right?
one was the
Remember
yes,
seeing a
and
snake?
then this one was the bug one.
Oh,
So
so they were all okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
I think she was specifically a bug person. Like that
Right,
was
right.
her,
But you could be like a
animagus power.
swarm versus
Yeah, like a
seven.
swarm. Yeah.
That's very cool.
So
Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, I know Swarm is a character, but I don't think
yeah, but it's not.
that's
No.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know
No,
where
it's a
Swarm
totally
is
different
from.
thing.
I only know
No,
Swarm
he's
from.
from Marvel, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's definitely not a he's
I don't
not
know
a
which series.
magic based. Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I only know Swarm from I played Marvel Snap, which is the card game that
Oh,
the card
right.
game app, which
Yeah,
I'm addicted to. That's all I know Swarm from.
that's funny. I've never played it.
Oh, it's so
So,
addicting. It's so good though. It's super fun.
um,
And it's not super pay to play. You can get away with not paying
yeah,
much if you don't want to put anything
yeah.
into a
He's a
digital card
character
game.
that appears mostly as an enemy of Spider-Man,
I
and
didn't know it's
his entire
one.
body is composed of bees. So,
Interesting. Well, yeah, they don't make it clear where they're from in the card game, so either you know or you don't.
right. Yeah.
Sometimes they'll release a card with like a special themed for that month, but that's never
Right,
changed
right.
now. Anyway, that's a tangent. So they escape the seven by going into a cabin in the woods.
Into a cabin in the
This
woods. Yeah.
is my favorite trial. This is probably one of, if not my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
episode. Well, obviously, as horror fans, the cabin in the
Oh
woods
yeah.
in an 80s film is very classic.
Yeah. All of them were dressed in very 80s fashions.
A lot of
Although
them.
I will admit though, like, teen he's wearing the kind of stereotypical guy from the 80s kind of jock thing and everything like
Mhm.
that, but he's not wearing the little half shirt. So, that was
Right. The practice
wasn't
jersey has
completely
got to be cut
accurate.
off.
Yeah, it wasn't completely
Yeah.
accurate.
No abs. Show us the abs, Joe Locke.
Right.
Well, I don't. It might be creepy. I don't know how old he is. I know he's in Heartstopper. He plays a teenager.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a creep. um, but yeah, and then well, little nods too. Well, just gonna throw it off the hop here.
You're in luck. He's 21, so
Okay,
you're
I'm
only
not being
maybe partial
not
creep.
being super creepy. Oh,
So
good, good. So what was I gonna say? Oh, lots of poltergeist references. Actually, so
yes.
if you notice, so obviously we had the TV in the background with the static,
Yeah.
but there's a moment we'll get to it where there's a ghost coming down the stairs, which looks like the spirits when they're all in the
Yeah.
living room and
Yeah, yeah.
and the
Yeah.
entities are coming down the stairs. There's that. There is well, Agatha is wearing. I don't know if she's wearing the exact number that Diane is wearing in Poltergeist,
Yeah.
but she's wearing like a jersey styled pajama shirt. Um,
Yeah.
I think Diane
I'm looking it
Poltergeist.
up too. Yeah.
Trying to find the shirt. I don't think it's number 3, but because Agatha was wearing number 3,
Yeah, no, she's wearing 65. So,
65. Yeah, yeah, but
yeah.
it's a
So
similar
it's
esque
not.
shirt to it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Very similar. Yeah.
so we're getting a lot of throws to that. And their trial is on a Ouija board. They got to convene with the spirits. And we are led to believe that this trial is for Agatha. Um, where they have to follow the rules on the Milton Bradley Ouija board.
Although it
Uh,
wasn't quite Milton Bradley, it definitely had a different name for the company
sure.
on there. So I did
Uh-huh.
catch that. I don't remember what the name
I
was,
don't
but
think
it was
I
definitely a
don't
different
think they
brand.
zoomed in, but
Yeah.
we'll have to go back and zoom in if we can. I'm sure there'll
Right.
be still someone's going to be analyzing that.
Oh, somebody will for sure.
Um, and I love that Lillian was like, what does it say on the back? He's like, ages 3 and up.
Age is 3 and up. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's so, I mean, I saw like a little bit of chatter online. Everyone's like, yeah, everyone's so afraid of Ouija boards because the stories I've heard, I'm like, if Ouija boards really worked, I'm not gonna say they don't. I'm gonna say though, if they worked out the way people think they work, I feel like demons would be a much bigger problem in this world. I just feel like there'd be more happening if all these people were like inviting things.
Right.
Like not gonna say not ever, how who I to presume how the spiritual world works,
Yeah.
but at least as far as demons are concerned, I feel like it'd be a bigger problem. Our
Yeah.
crew, they get down to do the Ouija board. They follow the rules, right? Like you have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
No one, don't take your hands off the planchette, otherwise the spirit comes out. Uh, there was a third rule, but I don't remember them.
Yeah.
Like sort of
Yeah. It
your
was like,
basics.
yeah. Yeah. I don't remember what
Oh, don't
exactly it
taunt the
was.
spirits,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which was feels very specific for Agatha, right? Because everyone
Oh, it was
looks at
very
her.
specific because everybody looked at her too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Everybody
like
knew she was going to be the one to do everything wrong.
don't
So,
antagonize. And so they go to ask, and so obviously, Agatha's messing with everyone, and we think, we're talking to Sharon. She lets go, and she's possessed by Sharon. She does a whole Mrs. Hart impression, which is very
right.
funny. I was hoping we were actually going to talk to Sharon somehow, but I get, she messed with
But it
us.
was funny. It was funny though, because everybody knew, everybody except for I guess Teen knew that like she was pulling their leg.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It was-
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I also just mean like, why are you gonna make fun of Sharon while she's dead? You
Right?
know,
Like
like
she just keeps kicking her while she's
she
dead,
just
man. It's
died and
just
you
it's
can't leave her alone.
bad.
Like, thank God,
He's horrible.
they should have went and buried her
Yeah.
in that kitchen. Um,
Right?
that was what they should have done. Don't take her out of the oven. Just put her back in. Put her in
Leave
the
her in the
kitchen.
kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so they call her bluff. And they get back to it. But we do get an actual possession. As things are sort of getting all wonky, things are moving around. Agatha actually gets possessed, and I love I mean, we're not getting full blown Linda Blair here, but uh,
Yeah.
it's
She's
good makeup work.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah. And
good.
they definitely got somebody to do the crawling backwards thing,
I mean,
somebody who's
yeah,
yeah.
we got the spider walk or the whatever.
Yeah.
We got the I mean, all the contortion, all that was really
Yeah.
cool. Like
Yeah,
body move.
they must have definitely hired a contortionist to be able to do all
That
that
wasn't
for them.
Catherine Hahn, no.
Oh, that was not Catherine Hahn. No way.
I don't think she could be, could do it if she wanted to, but I'm like,
Right.
I don't know if she did the training. She's not going to just become a
No.
contortionist for one
Right.
episode. Although if she did, kudos to her. But wild, and I even just like it was in the trailer, but I still cracked up because I forgot about it. When Aubrey Plaza's like, "Where's she going? Where's she going?"
Yeah. What's she doing? Where's she going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was so funny, and like, and my husband really liked
That's
this
the
episode
little
too.
things with Aubrey Plaza are like
Yeah,
are so on point. She's just so funny. It doesn't take much for her to steal a scene.
no,
So
well, because she's mastered like deadpan delivery.
and she mastered deadpan delivery. I'm assuming you were going to say on
Well,
uh
Parks and Rec, yeah, yeah,
Parks and
that's
Rec. Yeah,
well, Parks and
I
Rec.
love her on Parks and Rec. Yeah,
Yeah, and
she's
she's
so
just
good.
sort of run with that style. It's very British, and
Yes, yeah,
which is great. Um,
yeah,
I've been hearing. I don't know if you've been seeing a lot of the behind the scenes, not behind the scenes stuff, the promo stuff that she's been doing. Like she
yeah.
did Hot Ones with Patty LaPone,
I haven't watched that one yet, but I do want to watch that.
and her late night interview is very funny, and she talks
Yeah, the
about
one where she talks about being the roommate with Patty LuPone.
being a roommate with Patty LaPone,
Yeah,
and I've heard crazy shit.
yeah, yeah.
Patty LaPone like had her like IV nurse come and help her and give her like IV I mean, this is some wild stuff. I mean, I want
Wow,
that
that's
sitcom.
right. Yeah.
Because those two are amazing. But
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I know Aubrey steals the scene, like you were saying, for
yeah,
sure. But then we get, yeah, and so she's contortioning, she disappears, and then we sort of
yeah.
see my poltergeist reference of spirit something coming down the stairs very much in the same way that's caught on camera in poltergeist.
Right.
And then it becomes Mrs. Harkness, Uh,
Evanora Harkness,
Evanor
yes.
Harkness, Agatha's mother, was depossessed, but she was so saying that her mom possessed her briefly, and she's she's like, thank you for being in my mind for a while or
Yeah.
whatever. It was very and so she
It's the closest we've ever been.
it's the closest we've ever been. And now Mommy Harkness is presenting the
Mommy
coven with
Harkness.
the task of killing her daughter, of punishing
Yeah,
her
yeah.
daughter.
By
And
killing
so
her. Yeah.
by
Yeah.
killing her. And there's a moment where they're sort of like, thinking about punishing her, but they don't really like, there's no bloodlust yet.
You're
Uh,
right.
until there's a moment of power exchange, right, between
Yes.
Agatha and
Well,
Alice.
Evanora repossesses Agatha's body, and Alice uses her power to expel her. Um, and then in that moment, then Agatha starts absorbing
Yeah.
Alice's power.
And
So,
I know we've mentioned it before, but like Dark Willow and Buffy, when we were talking
yeah.
about Wanda, and it's very, I mean, I'm seeing it here, like with Agatha, it almost feels like involuntary. Uh,
It did feel involuntary. It did not seem like she did it on purpose at
no,
all. And she maintains later to Teen because Teen accuses her of doing it on purpose, and she's like, it wasn't. It but jumping ahead. But so she does maintain her innocence in it, whether we all believe her or not. It did seem like it wasn't intentional at all.
right. Whether it was a
So
slip up and she sort of like almost like Willow in the sense of like this like addiction to like dark magic or magic in
yeah.
general, and it just sort of was like, oh, she got a hit, and now she fell off the
Well,
wagon.
and she told them earlier too is that she can't take any of their magic unless they blast her with magic.
Exactly.
So,
So
so
a part of me thinks it is involuntary just in general
yeah, like
because
it's like a defense mechanism for her.
yeah,
It's unintentional, and it's a part of her natural like witch abilities or something like that, just to
yeah.
absorb somebody's power. So,
Well, I'm wondering, right? Because her mom says like she would have killed her as a baby. And I'm
right,
almost
because she was
wondering if
born evil.
born
Yeah.
evil, but I'm wondering if her mom made her evil. Like or
Yeah.
something happened. Maybe her mom made a deal and so Agatha something right very similar to maybe what
Right.
happened with Nicholas. I'm almost like putting a parallel to like it's not quite the same, but like Voldemort and Harry Potter. Kind of like
Right.
this like something happened in infancy and it's left this mark, this scar, this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
It could be.
yeah. So that's my theories, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. But so the
But
so they leave after Alice.
well, she's absorbing the
Oh,
power and can't stop. And then that's when Teen hears Nicholas Scratch talking, and he's like, who is this? And spells out Nicholas Scratch, and so he yells out the name, and then that's when Agatha stops, but it's already
mhm.
too late, and Alice is completely absorbed and dead.
That's right, right.
So
So it's revealed to Teen that
yeah,
that Nicholas is there, right?
yeah,
And then that kind of knocks her out of it. Yeah, I forgot that for a second. And so we find Alice is so like really everyone's dropping like flies now.
yeah, yeah,
This is our second character, a bigger character, not
yeah.
that anyone's gonna top
An
Shannon, but
actual witch of the
yeah,
coven.
one of the
So
witches is gone. Um, and yeah, now this is sort of putting a mark on Agatha, leading to sort of our big sort of final segment sequence of the
yeah,
episode, right? So this confrontation between Teen and Agatha, you say you jumped ahead a little bit, but yeah, so Teen is like confronting her,
yeah,
and then
and
in
just
the
says she's
exchange,
out for the power, and she's not
yeah,
really for anything else but her own power.
mm-hmm,
And and she says that's what all of us are here for, is just for this power. We're not here for anything else.
mm-hmm. And then she
um
says, "You're so much like your mother." So
hmm
kind of the
which
moment of
means
like
she's already known who he was.
I'm sure she's
So
figured, and then she had that moment of like, I hope he's my son, and then that disappointment. So now
yeah,
she kind of used it against him because then now she's sort of
right.
mad at him for not being Nicholas.
Exactly.
So like you could feel that pain, and so that kind of lashed out, but
Right.
that triggers him, and so now
He
we'll figure
uses
out
some power.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah, what the machination is. Is it that because she named him or figured it out and vocalized it? It released a seal, or did it release the hex, or
Yeah, it's not that part's not clear for sure.
we're not
Yeah.
sure yet. Or has he known all along? Has it been Wiccan all along? Right?
Right.
This and he's sort of I now I'm wondering is he really the one behind the whole Witch's
Right.
Road and what's happening here, right? Because so yeah, so he unleashes his blue power. He's controlling Jen and Lillian, which is
Yeah.
very similar to Wanda.
Yeah.
Um
So
and
her
oh
has
no,
them throw her
yeah,
into the mud, um and then once they're done with that, he blasts them into the mud too, and they all go sinking in. And
and they're all
then
going
it pulls back,
down. Mm-hmm.
and he's got a little headwear that's
Yeah,
similar to
crown, a
Wanda's,
little what do they call those?
like a tiara.
Tiara, yeah, not tiara, but what's the
I mean, yeah,
yeah, because I'm wearing the diadem. Is it diadem? Is that the word for it? Because I'm thinking, all right, I'm always in terms of Harry Potter, whatever, because I'm a millennial, right?
right.
So like,
Yeah.
so I think of the diadem of Ravenclaw,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah.
this, like
Kind of like that.
where
Yeah.
it's not like a
Yeah.
tiara, it's
It's a
like a
headdress of some sort. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Anyway,
very similar to Wanda's Scarlet Witch, like
yeah.
actual Scarlet Witch thing.
I'm
So
being very semantic. I'm like trying to figure out the actual word for it, but yeah,
you are, but it's okay.
it's a mirror of Wanda's crown, her headpiece.
Right, right.
And then we get really good use of that's not was that Billie Eilish?
It was Billie Eilish.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not a fan of Billie Eilish. It's just yeah, I'm not a regular.
Yeah, no,
This
luckily I had my captions on because otherwise I wouldn't have known.
I know Bad Guy, and I think I knew this song from briefly, but mostly Bad
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I only know a couple of her songs too. I haven't been a huge fan of hers. I don't hate her music, but like there's very few that I actually like am okay with.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
did.
I'm not seeking out
Yeah.
Billie Eilish albums, but
Right, right,
I will
right.
jam to a
My
song or
daughter
two.
really likes her, so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sure you hear it sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so essentially it's how I feel about Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I hear it and I like it. I won't shut it off, but I'm not seeking it
Right.
out on my own.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, very cool reveal. And yeah, well, the use
Yeah.
of that song, use of all the music in the end
Yeah.
credits have been great.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
they didn't do a song last time for for episode 4, which was odd, but like every other needle drop at the end of the other episodes has been like fantastic. It's
been
been so
great.
good. Yeah.
And I just love the witch iconography in pop
Yeah.
culture. Like it's just I love those end credits. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we get this little flip. And what's exciting about this is that it's happening in episode 5, where we had the
Yeah.
Agatha flip much later in WandaVision. So now I feel like we're really going to get a good chunk of this season
I hope so. Yeah.
where it's like truly like the end game of the story. Like we're really kind of yeah, it's gonna be a good chunk where we know a little bit more what's going on. Um, I mean, with Teen, I mean, I'm sure we can assume it's Billy. I'm gonna say, Billy
Yeah.
question mark.
Yeah.
Um, Billy, allegedly Billy is he's putting on a front. So he's very like not timid, but
Yeah.
like we were saying in earlier episodes, he's quietly poking the bear, throwing Agatha
Yeah.
under the bus here, doing a little something something here. Where clearly like if he is aware of what's going on,
It
he's
always felt like he knew more than he was letting on,
yeah,
for
he knew
sure.
more and he was sort of setting up the pieces.
Yeah,
And this
exactly.
is sort of his little checkmate or his little check, right? Like this is
Right.
his big penultimate move. Like did he set up the witch's road? Like is this all really his trial?
Right. Right.
Because
Yeah.
he wants to go down the road.
Yeah.
And is his trial taking out these witches to
Right.
gain power, right? I don't know. And then and because everything sort of seems to be working out, like he's generally okay, right?
Yeah.
Got hurt once, but he's pretty good. letting all them
Yeah.
do the work for him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting these next four episodes to see where we go with that. So
Yeah.
it'll be a lot of fun, I think, seeing
Any
exactly
predictions
what
or
his game
hopes
is.
or thoughts?
Mm, no, um, I don't have any real predictions. I'm just waiting because there's been lots of chatter online as to who certain characters are, including like who Rio is. They've seen at least two different distinct major things,
Well, there
major
was a
characters that you
Funko
could
Pop leak.
the Funko Pop leak that definitely confirmed. But see, I don't even know if that one's accurate still for Rio.
Okay,
So
fair.
it's just odd. I think they're going towards that, and so it's not going to surprise me if that is indeed who she is.
Hmm.
But and we're not. I don't want to spoil it here, so anybody who is listening, don't
Yeah, Google it if
if
you
you
want
don't
to see
want
it, but don't.
Google it if you want to be spoiled, but don't Google it if you don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah. We won't
Um,
say it here, but at least I
yeah.
feel like I think at this point, what we've seen on the show, I feel like Billy is definitely Wiccan.
Oh yeah,
Even looking at like his '80s outfit, he had like the blue headband, and he
yeah.
had the
Oh yeah,
red jersey,
yeah,
the red sleeve jersey. So like very similar to his outfit in the comics. So
yeah,
I think this is making me want to go read some Wiccan. I've been focusing on
yeah,
obviously reading Spawn, so we can get there eventually.
yeah.
But I've been
Yeah,
trying to
I gotta
focus
get I
on
gotta get back on that.
queer heroes. So I
Yes.
bought a collected edition of Midnighter, and I bought
Hmm.
it's his the Steve Orlando series, and then Midnighter and Apollo, the sequel
Okay.
miniseries.
I would
And I think
also check out the original the Stormwatch series that Midnighter and Apollo first appear in, and
yeah,
then
and he
the
was also in
early Authority.
The Authority, right? Well, they also rebooted The Authority, I think, too, that he was in a few of them.
Yes.
But not
The
like
Warren Ellis runs, even though Warren Ellis is, problematic himself, his writing was good. So definitely check out they're about to put out a Stormwatch compendium
oh,
in I think December or January. And it's the full run of Warren Ellis's run where he kind of transformed the Stormwatch team into what became the Authority.
oh, very cool.
So,
All right,
and
I'll have
then
to go
the
back and
Authority
read that
flowed
too.
out of that. Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, we're on the DC end of things talking about them, but then I also got the John Kent stuff. So I already
Mm,
had the
yeah.
3 volumes of Superman, Son of Kal-El.
Okay.
I have to finish those, but then I also got the Adventures of John Kent, which I think is the next series, and then
Yeah.
a couple of
Not a
action.
big DC person, so I don't know a lot about that
Yeah,
stuff.
but I
So,
need my queer heroes, so now I want to go read some Wiccan and
yeah.
Hulking and whatever. But
Hulkling, yeah.
um, not just not just the boys too. All queer heroes, but obviously I'm leaning towards my gay boys,
Well, that's what's great is if you
or
read
bi boys.
your titles that have Wiccan and Hulkling, then they eventually go into there's a run of Young Avengers that Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey did. And
Hmm.
that one has America Chavez in it as well. And Novar, who's also known as Marvel Boy.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
more of a queer character. Kid Loki's in that version as well. It's a
Oh,
very queer cast of characters in that one.
oh, very
So
cool.
so yeah,
All
that
right.
one's a real and it's a really good run on that title. So,
Beautiful, beautiful. So so at this point I can say one of the rumors that I heard is that the fourth sequel series, or the third sequel technically, but
hmm,
the fourth series in this run would be getting Tommy,
interesting. I don't know.
and then seeing like if Billy survived, or the had
Right.
Tommy
I don't
somehow.
even know what they would do with that. Like, yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, but I figure he would just pop up in something
Hmm.
like later because it's very similar to what happened in the Younger Avengers books too. Is that Tommy wasn't one of the members. I don't think he was one of the original members of the group. He came in like a few issues later.
Right,
And
right.
then that's when they realize that they might be connected. Um, and then later on down the road, they realize that they might be Scarlet Witch's children. So
Well, it would be kind of cool, like, if at the end of this, maybe this is how Wanda comes back, is Billy's
yeah,
able to bring her back. And then it would set him on an interesting journey because if they do kind of lead to a Young Avengers, either it's a series of him getting Tommy, or maybe that's an interesting little subplot of the movie. If they do a movie or a
yeah,
series, I would honestly wouldn't mind a Young Avengers series. I would like a little more time with the characters versus a
yeah.
movie, you know?
Yeah, and I think because we already had Miss Marvel and because we already had like a lot of these characters, a lot of the Young Avengers characters popped up in series rather than in movies
Movies, yeah.
because we've had Miss Marvel and Kate Bishop and Eli Washington show up in this Marvel series here.
Yeah.
And then I think who else? And then we had Billy and Tommy, obviously from
Well,
WandaVision.
Ironheart,
Um,
right, is gonna be
well, so yeah, Ironheart could appear in it as well. And she's supposed to get her own series
yes.
also. So it's possible. So here's the interesting thing about this too is that I really think, and I think it's in their best interest to not call it Young Avengers. I think it'd be really a lot better because Miss Marvel was never a part of the Young Avengers. She was part of another young group called the Champions.
Oh,
And I think that's what they should be calling it rather than Avengers to just give it its own identity.
I think
Um,
that's fair.
yeah, and then that way they could mix the groups a lot easier. They could have members from the Young Avengers, but also part of and some of the Champions members together. And I
Yeah.
think that I think it would be a lot more
The
fun and
champion,
interesting that way.
isn't that started in the 70s with Iceman, right?
So that's the original group of champions. That was the Iceman, Black Widow, Ghost Rider, and
I think Beast
somebody
was in
else I
that
can't remember.
too. Beast showed
I
up
think
for
Beast
'em.
was in it for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
read a couple of them as I'm going through my X-Men series just to see some of the ones that were a little more mutant heavy in the beginning there.
right.
But you're right, yeah.
Yeah. So there was the new team. The newest team was a group of it was basically Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, and who was it? Uh I think it was Vivian Vision. She's the daughter of Vision. Um, I think they were all part of yeah, I think they were all part of the Avengers at one point.
Mm,
They
okay.
were new recruits to the Avengers, but they didn't like what the Avengers were doing because the Avengers were um, what the Avengers always do is they go in, they stop the villain, and then they leave. And then the champions wanted these kids they wanted to do more of helping the people afterward thing, and that was kind of the champions' mission was to one help people everywhere, and then to also help with the aftermath. So they were more, forward thinking, kind of like, more progressive in a little way. But yeah, the team included kind of second generation characters. Miss Marvel, obviously, like I said, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Vivian Vision. They had the young Nova
Oh, cool.
character. Um, they had uh, Brawn, which was Amadeus Cho, which is a Hulk like character. And then they had the time displaced Cyclops. That
Oh,
was
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a whole thing at
The
the
whole
time. And
over the
then but
place. Yeah. No, I
Ironheart
remember
and
they brought the original 60s team up, right?
yeah, and then Ironheart and the Wasp, which was a younger version of not Janet Van Dyne, but like a new like she was actually I think the daughter of um Henry Pym from his former marriage.
Oh,
Um, and um, so she showed up out of nowhere and became a character as part of the thing too. So I mean, there's lots of different characters they could pull in. I don't think they're going to pull in all of these characters, but they could definitely pull in some of them. Um, and
yeah.
it would make for an interesting team to mix in with the Young Avengers
Yeah.
all
Yeah. I
together.
mean, hell, I
So
mean, yeah, you don't want to throw in too many. I mean, like you think back to like the original Avengers movie, right? You had like five of them, right?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you want to sort of keep it like, Wiccan, Kate, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, because obviously that's, she's coming. Well, she was in
Yeah. She was
Black
in
Panther.
Wakanda forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you also have Stature, Cassie Lang,
that
who's a member of the Young
Cassie.
Avengers as well.
That's right. So
Um,
it's five right there, and then then again, if they get Tommy, that's six.
Billy and Tommy, and they also have the Patriot, which is Eli Washington.
Yeah,
He from Falcon and Winter Soldier. We saw him there. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of characters that take them through.
yeah.
Like when needed.
I think it'll work. I think it would work best as a TV series, and
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
longer than 6 episodes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Wanda and Agatha were 9 each, which
yeah.
you know, I don't know why we can't go for the even 10, but is that a tax thing? It's sort of
Yeah.
like when they make something 9.99.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, but overall fantastic episode. Now
No,
now I
it's a
just feel
really
like it
great
really is
episode.
kicking into high gear. I
Yeah.
feel like you need some of those slower episodes to like, you want to enjoy time with the characters before you got to care about the characters before, you throw them through a mud puddle into the middle of
Right.
the air. Before you really put them in danger, or you kill them off, right? If they killed off Alice episode 3, who would, I feel like you wouldn't really care as much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I like that,
definitely.
Bit 5 was a good turning point.
No,
Excited.
absolutely.
So obviously you guys are watching this. Episode 6 has already aired. We're going to be catching up. So for next week, we're going to be covering 6 and 7 together. And then the following week will be the two-part finale. Which yeah, I'm super stoked for. I'm still all
Yeah,
in.
definitely. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what's coming up.
Yep. So any predictions, thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I don't have any. I'm just here for the ride right now.
I also think I asked you that already. I'm like, and then we went into a whole tangent about Young
Yeah,
Avengers.
yeah, yeah.
So
No, it's all
yeah,
good.
still no predictions. Okay.
No, no, no.
Well, thank you all for watching this episode of Horrific Heroes. We will see you next week for episodes 6 and 7. See you there.
Bye.